Yesterday, a federal raid on Canal Street in Manhattan turned a routine counterfeit goods bust into a flashpoint over immigration, policing, and New York City's identity. It began Tuesday afternoon when scores of agents from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, backed by the FBI, DEA, and other federal units, poured onto the crowded sidewalks. Dressed in tactical gear, some masked and carrying long guns, they arrived in unmarked cars and even an armored vehicle. Homeland Security later called it a targeted, intelligence-driven operation aimed at vendors selling knockoff merchandise. To people on the street, it looked and felt like an occupying force. Cell phone videos quickly captured the confusion. Shoppers stopped in their tracks. Vendors scrambled to pack up goods. A ring of bystanders formed, phones held high, shouting disgusting and shameful as agents handcuffed sellers. Estimates of those detained vary. Advocacy groups say 15 to 40, while eyewitnesses saw at least 7. Whatever the number, the sight of immigrant vendors being led away ignited anger. Tension spiked when protesters tried to block departing federal vehicles. Videos show agents pushing people to the pavement, swinging batons, and threatening pepper spray. Homeland Security says one protester was arrested for assaulting an officer and labeled parts of the crowd rioters. Protesters insist they were protecting neighbors from heavy-handed policing. By evening, the confrontation had migrated uptown. Hundreds gathered outside 26 Federal Plaza, ICE's New York headquarters, chanting "ICE out of New York" and "No ICE, no KKK, no fascist USA." Their demand: end federal immigration enforcement in the city and release the detainees. City and state leaders reacted swiftly. A spokesperson for Mayor Eric Adams stressed that the NYPD had no role in the raid and does not aid federal agents in civil immigration cases, saying local resources should target violent criminals, not undocumented New Yorkers pursuing the American dream. Advocacy groups echoed that theme. The New York Immigration Coalition called the operation a violent spectacle. The Street Vendor Project noted long wait lists for vending permits force many, often immigrants, into the shadow economy, making them easy targets.
Critics also questioned the timing. 2 days earlier, a conservative commentator posted a video highlighting Canal Street's counterfeit market and tagged ICE, urging a crackdown. Governor Kathy Hochul and others suggested the raid was politically motivated. Quote, authoritarian theatrics, one called it, reminiscent of tactics used under the Trump administration. The clash has reignited debate over New York's sanctuary city status. Councilmember Marte argued the raid violated those principles, while some officials acknowledged that unlicensed vending on Canal Street poses real challenges, but insisted federal force is not the answer. As Wednesday dawned, detainees remained in federal custody, and the political fallout was only beginning. Was this a legitimate criminal investigation or a message-sending spectacle? That depends on whom you ask. What's clear is that an operation ostensibly about counterfeit handbags has laid bare deep divisions over immigration, policing, and the reach of federal power in America's largest city.
A heist straight out of a Hollywood screenplay has stunned France. Early on Sunday, October 19th, thieves struck the Louvre, the world's most visited museum, making off with a cache of French crown jewels. Paris prosecutor Laure Becou now puts their market value at roughly 88 million euros, about $102 million, while stressing that no price tag can capture the piece's historical worth, according to Reuters. The raid was as swift as it was daring. Around 9:30 a.m., just after opening time, The thieves, dressed as construction workers, rolled a truck with a basket lift up to a second-floor window of the Galerie d'Apollon, the room that houses France's royal jewels. Power tools sliced through the window frame. In under 10 minutes they were in and out. 4 minutes inside the gallery were enough to smash 2 display cases, seize the jewels, and speed away on scooters along the Seine, the Associated Press reports. In their haste, they dropped and damaged the crown of Empress Eugenie, but 8 other treasures vanished. What exactly is missing? Among the stolen pieces are a sapphire tiara, necklace, and single earring linked to 19th-century queens Marie-Amélie and Hortense, an emerald necklace and matching earrings once owned by Empress Marie-Louise, Napoleon Bonaparte's second wife, and from Empress Eugenie herself, a tiara and a large diamond-studded corsage bow brooch, according to Le Monde. Each item is a tangible fragment of French history. The public reaction has been fierce. President Emmanuel Macron called the theft an attack on our history, while headlines have labeled it a national embarrassment. The Louvre closed for 3 days, reopening on Wednesday, October 22nd, as roughly 100 investigators began the hunt for both the culprits and the jewels, reports The National. How could such an audacious robbery succeed? France's culture minister Rachida Dati insists the museum's security systems did not fail, noting that alarms were triggered. Yet Justice Minister Gérald Darmanin acknowledged, "What is certain is that we have failed." A leaked security audit cited blind spots in video coverage throughout the wing, and labor unions blame staff reductions and chronic underfunding. The Louvre's very architecture, a 16th-century palace retrofitted into a museum, also complicates modern security measures. The Washington Post adds that while the main alarm sounded, a localized alarm in the gallery itself was reportedly broken. This is the Louvre's most serious theft since the Mona Lisa disappearance of 1911, later solved after 2 years. By contrast, a painting stolen in 1998 has never been recovered. The greatest fear now is what might happen to the jewels themselves. Experts warn that the most lucrative option for the thieves may be to break the pieces apart, prying out sapphires, emeralds, and diamonds for resale on the black market, and melting down the precious metals. That process would erase their provenance, turning irreplaceable artifacts into anonymous stones and scrap. Prosecutor Becquow has publicly appealed to the thieves' wallets as well as their conscience, pointing out they will never realize the full $102 million if they dismantle the jewels. For investigators, the clock is ticking. Every hour increases the risk that these symbols of France's heritage will be disassembled, scattered, and lost forever. The search continues, not only for the daring team that pulled off the Louvre's greatest jewel robbery, but for the irreplaceable pieces of history now somewhere in the shadows. Welcome to AITV News. Today's explainer looks at why Walmart, the nation's largest private employer, has paused job offers for some highly skilled foreign workers and what that means for the wider economy. In September 2025, the Trump administration introduced a sweeping rule. Any company that wants to hire someone on a brand new H-1B visa must now pay a $100,000 fee. The stated purpose is to curb what officials call overuse of the program and to push companies to hire United States workers first. Business groups, however, say the fee amounts to a roadblock to global talent. First, a quick refresher. An H-1B visa is essentially a temporary work pass for professionals in specialty occupations, fields like technology, engineering, science, and medicine that require at least a bachelor's degree. Since its creation in 1990, demand has far outstripped the annual cap of 85,000 visas, forcing the government to run a lottery each year.
The new six-figure charge does not hit every H-1B petition. According to United States Citizenship and Immigration Services guidance issued on October 20th, the fee applies only to workers who are currently outside the United States. It does not affect foreign students already in the United States who are changing status after graduating. Existing H-1B holders seeking an extension. That distinction is crucial, and it explains Walmart's move. The retailer has decided to put a temporary hold on offers that would trigger the $100,000 payment. A company spokesperson said Walmart remains committed to hiring and investing in the best talent, but is reassessing its H-1B strategy in light of the new cost. For context, Walmart employs roughly 1.6 million people in the United States. About 2,400 hold H-1B visas, a tiny share compared with tech giants like Amazon, Microsoft, or Google, but enough to feel the sting of a sudden six-figure surcharge per new hire. By pausing now, Walmart buys time to calculate whether bringing in talent from abroad still makes financial sense. Smaller firms face an even tougher choice. Startups and mid-sized companies often rely on specialized foreign workers to build products and scale quickly. For them, a $100,000 fee per employee can be a deal-breaker, potentially pushing jobs and investment to countries with friendlier policies.
Not surprisingly, the rule has landed in court. The United States Chamber of Commerce, joined by healthcare and labor groups, has sued to block the fee, arguing it exceeds presidential authority. Until the case is resolved, businesses and would-be employees must navigate a landscape filled with uncertainty. The H-1B program has always sparked debate. Critics claim companies sometimes use it to undercut wages for domestic workers. Supporters counter that H-1B talent fills gaps in critical fields, drives innovation, and ultimately creates more jobs for Americans. Walmart's hiring freeze illustrates the stakes. A single company's pause is manageable. A broader retreat across multiple industries could slow research, development, and competitiveness. Whether the $100,000 fee survives legal scrutiny or is modified by future legislation will shape corporate hiring strategies and the aspirations of thousands of skilled workers worldwide. For now, the message is clear. The price of accessing global talent in the United States just went up, and even the biggest employers are recalculating. We'll keep watching as the courts, companies, and policymakers weigh in on the future of the H-1B program. Thanks for joining this AITV News Explainer.